Hi, I'm Beck, a psychologist, and blown away by the amount of subscribers and interactions that I'm getting on these videos. If there's anything you'd like my humble perspective on, leave a comment and let me know. So I'm lucky enough to have made a career in engaging people and listening to people's stories. And what I've learned over the years is that there is a level of energetic exchange through any communication. And what you can do to really access and discern the energy of a conversation is listen from your solar plexus. So, not really your heart as much as your heart sometimes is more allowing and more forgiving of behaviors that might not serve you, might be more toxic. But when you get under even that heart space, or you can ground that heart space down into an anchored root, that's where the magic happens, because that's when you can come from your heart but also not accept anything that is going to affect you negatively. And so listening from getting under people energetically, you can drop down and you can get under somebody's mind and opinions, and if you can drop down under that, what happens is those stories, if they hold a level of pain, and so often they do, so often defensiveness and judgmental and critical and shame, if someone's trying to use shame against you for something, so often when you drop down into that solar plexus and you listen from under, so you're not listening to their words, you're listening to their energy, you can listen to that and you feel the pain behind it, all of your defensiveness and all your triggers drop away, because you can feel under that to what's beneath it. And so what happens over time, and it's a lived experience, so you'll need to practice this so you can have a lived experience of getting under people's pain. What happens is, what is revealed is such a compassion for humanity, such an acceptance of the human condition in all its different forms, that you can really show up differently in quite a detached way, which is really quite lovely. Because when you're detached, you're not resisting somebody else's experience. So when you get, vehemently, passionately against something that you deem as truly terrible, perhaps on behalf of a friend, they've had an experience and, that's terrible and how could they do that to you? And while that's really lovely and you're just being loyal to your friend, there's a level of resistance around that experience for your friend that keeps them away from being able to accept it for what it is and deal with it, and deal with it proactively and from a place of empowerment rather than anger or resistance. Doesn't mean that you can't have words to that effect. And this is where the difference between the energy and the words come into play. You could be saying all those things. That's awful. And that's terrible to hear. But your energy behind those words is coming from that place of deep acceptance, which is down in your core, down here. You sort of run your words through that part of your body. So when they are expressed, they come with a softness or an acceptance that allows your friend to, it was horrible, and really come to it in an authentic way. They can show up just as authentically. Now, obviously, to drop down into a place of complete acceptance and surrender requires a lot of work to work through your own triggers and the things that make you defensive. And that takes time and it takes a lot of self-awareness. And again, I'm blessed to be in the industry of needing to have constant constantly checking myself every moment of every day. I am aware of my state of being. I am aware of my thoughts, and I don't actively change them. I don't actively go in there and CBT myself. I simply work with my body, and I find if there is a thought of lack or resistance or insecurity, I find where I feel that in my body, and I just work with that part of my body, and I bring comfort and ease to it by finding a part of my body that doesn't believe that does feel okay, that in that moment doesn't feel insecure, that feels good. It doesn't have to feel grandiose and wonderful. It just feels all right. It just feels okay in that moment. Once I found that part, I just relax into it. And so often in doing so, grief comes up because every time we move a little bit closer to our authentic selves, we grieve the fact we were separated from it in the first place. So the difference between any of us and this unity consciousness that anyone's discussing is the amount of grief that you can allow yourself to process, because in this state of separation, we hold so much grief. And every time we get a little bit closer to our natural state, we grieve the gap, and we just allow ourselves to do that. And the more you can get comfortable with grief, the easier it'll be to get under people energetically and start to enjoy humanity. It's really not terrible. It's really quite wonderful in all its forms when you can see it for what it is. We're all just a bit lost. That's all. Take care.